Welcome back to the Rustic Oak Farm, friends. It's been a while since I've been on here. I'm just going to go through the past couple months of what we actually been doing, what we've been catching up on. We've had a crazy summer, and I'm honestly ready for everything to kind of slow down. So back in the end of June, we started pickling a bunch of cucumbers. They started coming on. It was almost July. And my husband loves cucumbers. It's one of our staples that we have in our house. So we try to get up to at least 50 quart jars of pickles every year. So that's what we're working on here. So I'm happy to say that we actually canned about our goal this year. Our cucumbers did amazing. We had so many coming in that we've been just giving them away, and they're actually still growing. So we are still getting the original cucumbers off the same plants that I planted in the spring. So a lot of them are dying out, but a lot of them are doing amazing. So I got pickles for our hamburgers, some spears, and we canned some whole. So we did amazing on our pickles this year. So I'm out here searching for Big Mama, our cow. She is not with the other herd, so that is a good sign that she might have had her baby or is having her baby. I can't find her anywhere, so she might be hiding in the woods. So I'm going to try to find her later on just to check up on her and make sure she's doing okay and if she had the baby or not. So we'll just have to jump on the four-wheeler and go search for her here in a little while, because all the other cows are up here by the water tank and she is not up here. And that is always the sign. If they're not with the herd, they're usually wanting their privacy to have a baby. And she was really close the other day. Here in a couple months, our pigs will be going off to butcher. And then our spring chickens that we hatched out, I think all of them but 2 were roosters. So we ended up giving all the roosters away for free. And then we took the 2 small hens and put them in with our main hens. So they're all getting along pretty well. I think it took a couple days. We had to clip some of their wings because they kept flying out of the pen. So we're just gathering eggs, feeding the animals this morning, and we are going to go look for that baby calf here in a little bit. So we run around our whole entire wood line around our property, and of course she was close up by the house where the woods starts. So it ended up being a little bull calf. He is so cute, and she literally just had this baby. You can tell here in just a little bit in this clip whenever she gets up and turns around. So he is fully fresh in this video. I knew when she was gone and we couldn't find her, she had to be having this baby. So she had it this morning, and he is healthy. She is such a good mom. This is one of our first cows that we've ever had here on this farm. She has always been an amazing mother. She's taken really good care of this calf here, so we're just going to let them be. We just wanted to go ahead and check on them. Another thing we've been doing a lot of this past summer is collecting berries every other day, and our blackberries did actually really good this year. After I fertilized them, I was kind of nervous they weren't going to do anything this year because last year we didn't do a very good job at watering them or fertilizing them last year. So honestly, after pruning them this spring, fertilizing them, our berries did amazing, and we got quite a bit in the freezer. We've been putting them into our smoothies every morning. So that's what we're doing this year with our berries. We're freezing everything. So another thing that we did this summer was can up a bunch of peppers. And here is some pepperoncinis. Love to put them on Italian salads, and I grew a bunch of them this year. So I ended up chopping a bunch of these up. I should have wore gloves here because my hands actually kind of burned a little bit afterwards. But we actually got quite a bit of jars of pepperoncinis, and I canned a lot of these into my jelly jars. They were just perfect size. I didn't film this part, but we also canned up a bunch of jalapenos and some non-hot jalapenos. So we got quite a bit of peppers this year. So glad it's done because pepper season, there's just so much to chop up. So glad it's done, and we have a lot of peppers for wintertime. So this was the beginning of July. I started gathering up some homemade compost that I made in the springtime, and I'm getting ready to put this all on my beds and some of my garden rows because I got to start planting my fall crops soon. So I'm just going to put a couple layers of compost on top of my soil, and I'm just going to work it in the first couple inches. And my soil needs calcium, so here in a little while you'll see me spreading some calcium in with my compost. I like to do that at least a week or two before I start planting anything, so it can sit a couple days and I can water it in. Then it should be good for me to start planting in. I couldn't have asked for a better day in July to get all of this done. It was super nice weather, so I spent all day getting all this done. You can see this top corner of the garden. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows done. And these are all of my fall rows, so they're ready to plant in. So what I'm planting for fall is I'm gonna do a fall carrot. I'm gonna do a fall corn. I didn't plant any sweet corn this year, so I'm gonna try to get it in before it's too late. I'm going to plant some in my garden bed, and I'm going to plant some in ground. And then the rest of the beds that are in ground are going to be my brassicas. And I do have a row in the very back that is my garlic row, but for now I'm going to just go ahead and do another round of zucchini and squash. So as I finish up all of these rows, I'll just talk a little bit about why I haven't really been on here this past month. I believe in my carrot video I talked a little bit about some of this. And my husband hurt his arm. He tore off the bicep off of his shoulder, so he had to have surgery. So we scheduled it for a Monday, July 1st, and we went in July 1st to get his surgery done. So the next day, my older son ended up going to the hospital for pneumonia. And then the very next day after that, my 2 youngest boys ended up in urgent care with pneumonia as well. So my older son was in the hospital for 5 days. So we got to come home after 5 days, and for like a week everybody got better. And then it wasn't long after that we all came down with like these allergy symptoms. Even me and my husband got it. My 2 little boys got it again. So we were sick for another week and a half, and then we recovered from that. Our car air conditioner went out one day, and then the very next day our house air conditioner went out. And then not too long after that, one of the younger boys ended up getting an ear infection from all of these allergies that we were getting. And then my older son that had pneumonia started getting sick again. So it was just like a crazy month of July. It was just always something happening every week. So at times it definitely brought us down to our lowest points. We just didn't know like what to do. You know, we are true believers in Christ, and we just knew He had it all worked out in the very end. So we just had to put our trust in Him. But we definitely were tested all the month of July, it seemed like. But we're definitely through it now. and we just had to put a whole new air conditioning system into our house. So that was kind of a bummer. It was really expensive. Luckily, we got to fix the car air conditioner. I mean, it was still expensive, but there was just like a little minor little leak in one of the lines. But the most important thing is that we're all healthy right now, and I couldn't be more happy about that. I just want to stay healthy and not have to worry about getting sick for a long time. So back to the gardening channel, I am planting my fall carrots here. Now I'll keep all these carrots in the bed all winter long. I will not harvest all of them or process them, so I'm just showing you guys what I'm planting here. You can see a little clip before I started talking about this of what I'm planting. So then we move on to harvesting our first tomatoes of the year. We like to make a lot of tomato sauce. So look how beautiful all of these tomatoes are. They're starting to barely turn red, and I like to harvest these before they turn really red. So I'll pick a bunch of these, I'll put them in a cardboard box, and I will put them by a window and let them all ripen at the same time, and then I'll start processing them for my tomato sauce. You can see how big these are. They're huge, beautiful tomatoes. And then we went and harvested our first watermelon of the season. I'm a little behind on planting my watermelon this year due to a bunch of rain. And then we went back into the berry patch. Of course, every other day we have to pick berries to keep in our freezer because we've been eating a lot of smoothies every single morning. We've been on this health kick with our kids, and we tried to have a smoothie every morning. So this is what the harvest looks like whenever we came inside. We got tomatoes, squash, cucumbers, watermelon, cantaloupe, peppers. Very, very nice harvest today. So one of my goals this year was to can as much tomato sauce as possible, and I just did that. Every time we harvested, we let them sit for a couple days in the window. I would process them into tomato sauce, and I just kept rotating that every other day. And I tell you what, we got so much tomato sauce this year, which is awesome. I'm so happy about it because we use tomato sauce for a lot of things. We use it for chili, we use it for spaghetti, homemade hamburger helper, cabbage rolls, lasagna, soups. And then here lately we've been making homemade pizza, and it's amazing for pizza sauce. So, I mean, it's very versatile. Like, you can use it on anything, any dish. So I just wanted to make sure I was making a ton of tomato sauce because, for one, it tastes amazing. And two, obviously you can use it for so many dishes. So if you're looking for something to grow in your garden and you don't know what to grow, definitely grow tomatoes because you can make so much tomato sauce and you wouldn't believe how many dishes you can make out of it. So I start by roasting the tomatoes in the oven on broiler just to get this tomato skins off, and then I put them into a really big pot, and then I mix up the rest of the ingredients and throw into the pot, and I literally let it simmer all day long, and then I put it through a food mill, and then I put it back in the pot and let it simmer even more to reduce all of the liquid into the tomato sauce to get the tomato sauce really thick. And then later on I will can it up at the end of the day. So I feel like this is really easy. Like, the only hard part is getting it all prepped and ready first thing in the morning, but literally you just let it simmer all day long and then you just can it up at the end of the night. So this is probably one of my favorite things to process is tomato sauce. So another thing I like about this recipe is most of this stuff actually comes out of my garden. I got the onion, the garlic, the herbs, and it just makes it that much more special because it's coming out of my garden. So I really love making tomato sauce. So I will link down in my description below the book that I used to get this recipe from. So me and my husband just make a assembly line every time we can. He's working on one thing, I'm working on the other, making sure we can just knock this out really quickly. He loves gardening just as much as I do, so much more special to me because he enjoys it just as much as me. So we've always been a great team. It's really not as stressful whenever you have a partner to work with. And I definitely could say that I could not do this alone because you guys can see how big my garden is and I have a hard enough time keeping up with it with just myself. So if I didn't have him, I wouldn't be able to do any of this. So very grateful that he enjoys gardening just as much as me. So we got all of this done and we actually canned up, I believe, 54 jars of tomato sauce this year. So I think that's really great. It's way more than last year. We went through our tomato sauce really quickly last year, so I've already used up a couple jars for our pizza this year. So it's already gonna go pretty fast. So you can see in this clip right here that look how beautiful this color turned out to be. Just a really dark, rich looking red. Very proud of our tomatoes this year. It was a rough start on my tomatoes, but they ended up producing quite a bit. Very proud of them. So this is the watermelon that we harvested. Look how beautiful this watermelon is, and it tasted so good. Pretty bummed that our watermelon didn't do as well as they did last year, but we can't control the weather. We got a lot of rain this year. Blessed to have all the rain, very grateful for it, but it wasn't very good on our watermelon. But still turned out to be a really wonderful year. We have quite a few to still harvest. And then look at these berries that are coming up. They're absolutely huge. These are my ever-bearing blackberries, and they are massive. Best tasting berry that you'll ever eat. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video today. I know I didn't feel like filming a lot in July just because there was so much happening in our life. I hope to see you guys again soon.